What's going on, guys? It's MurderInc back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I want to talk about Rotos the Lost Groom again. A lot more people are fusing him, and I really want to talk about how to gear him for Arena. I see a ton of people gravitating towards the same item set, and I really think that they should consider a few things before all jumping on this bandwagon too quickly. The item set that a lot of people are running right now is Relentless Gear. And Relentless Gear is very good. I personally use it in Clan Boss. However, I want to show you a clip of when I was in top 10 in Platinum and cleared an entire list and just show you the benefit of the gear I'm using. So without wasting time, I'm going to start playing the clip. And as the clip's going along, I'm going to explain what gear I was wearing and why I think it works so well. So as you can see from the composition, I chose to use Duchess, Rotos, Luzgius, sometimes Hegemon, and then Mountain King. Those are really the 5 champions I chose to go with, as I felt they countered most of the comps I was going against, and I had a ton of success with it. So now let's talk about Rotos. We all know he has a built-in extra turn mechanic on his A1. Now, I've mentioned this before in my gearing videos. Usually, and this is obviously subject to change based on the champion and what interactions they can have, I don't like to highlight a part of somebody's kit that they already have built into it. So what I'm trying to say with that is, Rotos already has a 30% chance of granting an extra turn, so personally I cannot justify adding a 4-piece gear set, taking up 4 slots to add an additional 18%. And I say additional, but obviously it's not a 48% chance when worn together. It's a 130% chance and 118% chance. Yes, it's strong. I'm sure people have said it's crazy OP. I've seen a Rotos go over and over and over again. However, there are ways to utilize his kit without needing Relentless Gear. Relentless Gear is very difficult to get, and if you do get it, you also need to get the correct stats. So let's get right into how I geared him. I chose to gear him with Savage Gear. Now I chose Savage Gear simply because of his A3. Will ignore 75% of the target's defense, bumping it up to a flat 100% of ignored defense with Savage Gear. Granted, to counter the point I'm trying to come across to you, Savage Gear also requires 4 pieces, and it's definitely a lot easier to get than Relentless Gear, but I can see an argument being made saying you're just replacing one 4-piece with another 4-piece, but this is why I feel like Savage is much more important. There are many ways to counter Rotos. And without getting too much into that, if you want to see a video on all of the counters you can use to increase your success when fighting a Rotos, leave a comment below and I will absolutely add that to the list of the next videos that I will release. So when I first approached this, I looked at it as this. Why run Relentless and try to go as many times as possible when I can just one-shot the target regardless of how geared they are right off the bat? Now yes, there are a ton of champions who have things of getting around it, but as you can see in the video, it's just not happening. He's an absolute monster. I do have very good Savage Gear. The real benefit to the Savage Gear is adding that extra 25% ignored defense. The damage is just monstrous, and it's making champions like Duchess look like they're wearing no gear at all. Outside of the A3, the A2 also scales very well with Rotos kit, and now you're adding a 25% ignored defense, which you would not normally be getting from Relentless Gear, so that's also very strong. And to even go further on that point, you have the A1 that you're also adding the ignored defense to. The ways that I came up with where I could utilize Rotos' full potential, in my opinion, was to add things like the counterattack mastery on the defensive tree for Rotos, due to his passive allowing him a lot of survivability when being hit, as well as a Luzgius ally attack. A counterattack and an ally attack both have the chance to proc his extra turn. So based on that alone, for my team comp specifically, I said there is absolutely no reason why I should be running Relentless Gear on him. Now I have heard there is a counter argument where you can run Relentless Gear and the Helm Smasher. Helm Smasher, as we all know, is not a 100% chance Smasher is 50-50 on ignoring 25% defense, so I much rather prefer the 100% chance using the gear set, making it solid, having a speed set on top of things to round him off as a champion. And I know people are going to ask, so I'm going to tell you, I decided to run 31,000 health, 4,600 defense, 150 speed, 98% crit rate, and 260% crit damage with my Savage set. For this particular run, I did use a Cruel 2 set and a Savage 4 set, and I plan that to use that to my advantage because it's great once you one-shot one target, but they have a multi-revive team or a second target that's an absolute threat and you have to get rid of it. I wanted every little benefit I could possibly get to make sure Rotos eliminated 2 champions every turn he went off. So you can kind of see right from the beginning the upside and downside and the compare and contrast of Relentless versus Savage gear for my case. One is banking on Relentless proccing over and over again, killing your target. The other, in my opinion, which is why I'm running it, is less risky. It's a simple 1 kill, 2 kills, so now it's a 4v2 as soon as Rotos goes. That also assumes they didn't go first. If they did go first, he has the chance to counterattack, break up the entire speed order, and then take out 2 champions right from the get-go. As you can see from my comp, I even went a step further, and outside of Rotos, I used a Mountain King. He is a red affinity champion because I said, well, what happens if they have a red champion like Bloodgorge that I really have to get rid of because I don't want him one-shotting one of my vital champions. That's what led me to say, okay, I need to put in a Mountain King. He does exactly what Rotos does. He has his own strengths and weaknesses, but he is one of the hardest hitting champions in the game. So to me, this was the ultimate composition that I could come up with that works against a vast majority of the teams, as you can see from this clip already. Another common question people have asked me that I feel like it's appropriate to answer is, can you stack more health and sacrifice a little bit more attack and be safe? The short answer is yes. The attack and HP multiplier, based on what I found, are not miles away from each other. So if you do choose to go the HP route, I highly recommend do not ignore attack at all because it definitely scales better. A build with 45,000 health on top of 3,000 to 4,000 attack can be an extremely scary build for Rotos, regardless of the gear set you decide to put him in. And while we're on stats, I do want to remind everybody, once again, if you haven't seen my video, don't focus too much on crit damage. There are diminishing returns between attack and crit damage and health and crit damage based on what type of champion it scales off of. And since Rotos does scale off of both, do not stack 300 and something % crit damage and have 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 attack, 20,000 health, 25,000 health. The damage will not be aligned with each other and you will be losing a ton of value. So that's pretty much all I wanted to go over in this video. I didn't want to get too in-depth on it because, once again, it's up to the player. It's up to what kind of gear you have. Savage isn't the only option. You can absolutely run a full speed set, 3 cruel sets. It's totally up to you. You can even use immortal sets and go the HP route that I mentioned before. What I really do want to know is, do you think this champion is balanced? Do you think he needs tuning? The fusion was decently hard, so I don't like saying the word nerf, but do you think he should be approached like Tormin was, with a discussion? Do you think he's going to completely overtake the arena? There are lots of past fusions as well as new champions that are really, really good counter to Rotos, and I have looked at the leaderboards and I've seen not a lot of people are utilizing this. It's something I talked to with a lot of my clan members, and we're slowly starting to formulate ideas. And for people who don't have a ton of legendaries, I see you in the comments. I do want to see that there is at least 2 epics I can think of that provides a very, very strong counter to Rotos. So once again, don't forget to like, subscribe. I'm having a ton of fun making these YouTube videos, so please give me some feedback. Let me know what you want to see. Until next time, guys, peace out.